The first time my dad said it, I was 12. Jaden, you're the biggest disappointment I ever raised. He didn't yell. He just looked at me like I was a cracked egg he couldn't fix, and walked out of the garage where I'd been trying to rebuild a lawnmower engine with parts from the junkyard. The words stuck to me like Georgia humidity in July. My name is Jaden Malik Carter. I'm 22 now, living in Southwest Atlanta in a 2-bedroom apartment above my auntie's hair salon. My dad, Marcus Carter, owns Carter & Sons Construction. 3 crews, 2 warehouses, and a reputation that opens doors at City Hall. Everybody knows the Carters. Everybody, except me apparently. Dad wanted a son who could throw a football 60 yards, bench 2 plates, and quote bid contracts before breakfast. Instead, he got me. Skinny arms, thick glasses, and a brain that lit up over circuit boards and code. I spent high school in the robotics lab, while my little brother, Jordan, started on varsity as a freshman. Jordan got the hugs. I got the lectures. Boy, you gonna fix computers for a living? That's a hobby, not a legacy. That was Dad's favorite line. He said it at Thanksgiving, at Christmas, at Jordan's games. Mama tried to smooth it over with peach cobbler and, "Your daddy loves you, baby." But love shouldn't feel like a report card with all F's. So I stopped trying to impress him. I graduated early, took night classes at Georgia State, and built apps in my bedroom. By 19, I had a side hustle, an app called HomeFix that connected homeowners with licensed black contractors. I kept it quiet. Dad would have called it playing on the phone. It started with a text from Jordan on a Tuesday in June. "Dad's in the hospital. Heart thing. Come to Emory Midtown." I dropped my laptop, grabbed my keys, and sped across 120. Atlanta traffic tried to fight me, but I won. The waiting room smelled like bleach and worry. Mama was crying into Auntie Keisha's shoulder. Jordan paced in his Morehouse basketball shorts. Dad was in the ICU. Blocked artery, emergency stent. The doctor said, "Rest, diet, no stress." Dad lasted 3 days before he was back on job sites, yelling at suppliers. "Carter men don't sit," he told the nurse. I visited every evening. He'd grunt, ask about Jordan's jump shot, then fall asleep. One night, he woke up while I was adjusting his pillow. "Jaden," he rasped, "still wasting time on them computers?" I swallowed the burn in my throat. "Just checking your vitals, Dad." He closed his eyes and said, "Biggest disappointment." The app blows up. 2 weeks later, HomeFix hit 1 million downloads. A viral TikTok. Some influencer in Buckhead needed her deck fixed, found a contractor through my app, posted a before and after. The algorithm did the rest. Suddenly, I had investors DMing, news stations calling, and a bank account that made me dizzy. I kept it off socials. Dad hated bragging. But Atlanta talks. My cousin Tasha saw me on the local news. 22-year-old tech prodigy revolutionizes home repair. She sent it to the family group chat. Dad's reply? Fake news. My son don't even own a hammer. Jordan added laughing emojis. I turned my phone face down and kept coding.
It's August. The heat was a living thing. Dad called a Carter summit at the house in Cascade. 6 bedrooms, marble floors, the kind of place that makes you whisper. He sat at the head of the dining table like a king, oxygen tube in his nose but voice still booming. "We are expanding," he announced. "New subdivision in South Fulton. 50 homes, Carter branded. Jordan's gonna run sales. Jaden," he looked at me like I was a smudge on his shoe. "You can answer phones in the office. Learn the business." Jordan smirked. Mama looked hopeful. Auntie Keisha raised an eyebrow. She knew about the app, but I'd sworn her to silence. I cleared my throat. "Actually, Dad, I've got my own thing going." He waved me off. "Your little games ain't paying bills." I slid a folder across the table. Inside, HomeFix financials, $2.3 million in revenue last quarter, partnerships with Home Depot and Lowe's, a pending acquisition offer from a Silicon Valley giant for $48 million. The room went quieter than a church during prayer. Dad flipped pages like they were in Spanish. This you? Yes, sir. Jordan snatched a page. Wait, you built this? Mama started crying happy tears. Auntie Keisha whooped so loud the chandelier shook. Dad leaned back, face unreadable. So you been hiding money while I'm out here breaking my back? No, sir. I've been building something, like you taught me. Just different tools. He stared at the acquisition letter. The offer was addressed to Jaden M. Carter, CEO and founder. Dad didn't take it well. Pride is a heavy crown. That night, he tore up the papers, threw them in the fireplace, and told me to stop playing billionaire. 2 days later, he collapsed on a job site. This time, the doctors weren't gentle. Mr. Carter, another episode like this and we're talking transplant. You need to retire. Now. Mama begged him. Jordan begged him. I didn't. I just handed him a new folder. This one with a proposal. Carter & Sons plus Home Fix Partnership. Dad stays chairman, zero stress. Jordan runs sales and learns digital marketing. I integrate home fix tech into every Carter build. Smart homes, app-based warranties, instant repair bookings. Projected revenue, $120 million in 3 years. He read it in the hospital bed, oxygen hissing. You think you can save my company? I think we can build a new one, together. He looked at me, really looked, for the first time since I was 12. You always were stubborn. Well, it runs in the family. 3 months later, we held the launch events at the Georgia Freight Depot. Brick walls, string lights, 300 guests, city council members, HBCU presidents, rappers, grandmas in Sunday hats. A giant screen showed the new logo, Carter Tech Homes. Dad walked in with a cane, but his suit was sharp. Jordan wore a blazer with the company crest. Mama beamed in a gold gown. I stood at the podium in a simple black tux, glasses polished. Ladies and gentlemen, I began, Carter & Sons started with one man, one truck, and a dream. Today, we honor that legacy with innovation. The screen lit up, a 3D model of the South Fulton subdivision, solar panels, home fix pre-installed in every kitchen, QR codes on walls for instant maintenance. Then the surprise. I stepped aside. But this isn't my story, it's ours. Dad shuffled to the mic. The crowd hushed. I spent years thinking success looked one way, he said, voice cracking. Football trophies, big contracts, a son who followed my blueprint. He looked at me. But my boy Jaden, he drew a whole new house, and it's stronger than anything I ever built. He pulled an envelope from his pocket. This here's the deed to the first Carter Tech model home, signed over to Jaden Malik Carter, paid in full. Gasps, camera flashes, Jordan's mouth actually dropped open. Dad continued. I called him a disappointment once. Biggest mistake I ever made. Truth is, he's the reason Carter & Sons ain't just surviving. He's why we're soaring. He turned to me, eyes wet. Son, I'm proud of you. Always should have been. The crowd erupted. Mama sobbed into Auntie Keisha's shoulder again. Jordan hugged me so hard my glasses crooked. Carter Tech broke ground on phase 2. Dad fishes on Lake Lanier every Thursday. Doctor's orders. Jordan's TikTok has 400K followers showing off smart home features. Mama hosts coding camps for black girls in the old office. Me? I still code in my apartments above the salon, but now there's a neon sign in the window. Carter Tech Innovation Lab. Kids from the neighborhood stop by after school. I teach them Python between Auntie Keisha's washing sets. Sometimes Dad visits. He brings peach cobbler and watches me debug code. Still don't understand half this mess, he grumbles. I grin. That's okay. You built the foundation. I just added Wi-Fi. He laughs, the deep, real kind I hadn't heard since I was little. Biggest disappointment, huh? Nah, I say, biggest plot twist.
And in Atlanta, where the skyline keeps growing and the sweet tea's always cold, the Carter legacy finally feels like home.